Hello, Wednesday the 8th of January 2019. Things are moving on, are they not? The full moon is coming up, and that's going to be in Cancer on Friday the 10th, so we're very close to that now. The moon is in Gemini today. Not that much has changed actually in the astro weather, but we are looking at a void, of course, coming up tonight, and it's worth thinking about. In fact, actually, let me see, 22:15 here in UK, so that's actually 2:15 in the afternoon Pacific, not tonight. 2:15 in the afternoon Pacific, 5:15 this evening on the eastern side of the States and Canada, 22:15 in the UK. The moon goes void, of course, and it's an important thing to be aware of, actually. It's not the most auspicious time, and there's not a lot I can say about it, but it is a time of not really trying to do too much in terms of pushing your life forward and making new things happen. That's actually a blessing, though. That's going to allow all of us to take a bit more time just to go over the way things have been recently and prepare ourselves for all that full moon energy coming in, because it is going to be a powerful one. There is a lunar eclipse, as I've been saying day after day, when the moon actually is full on Friday the 10th. But that void, of course, is between Gemini and Cancer, because the moon is in Gemini now and actually will be right through until 2:15 in the afternoon Pacific, and all the times I've said. It's a sociable thing. It's a cheerful thing, actually, having a Gemini moon. It's very positive, and it's good between people as well. Quick-wittedness comes out as well, so it's actually good for not getting caught out by things or getting out of things that you've been caught out by. And let's face it, that does happen. I seem to have been caught out by strange lighting. Every time I move, the lighting seems to change today. So maybe I'll use my void, of course, to sort that out. Intellectual pursuits, though, it's a day for broadening the mind, most certainly. And no problem, actually, with broadening the mind during the void, of course, because it is a great time for reading up on things, maybe catching up with emails, catching up with, if you still like write things down and put things in filing cabinets, maybe it's a good time for that. Well, I'm sure it is a good time for that, actually. But you could see it as a domestic time, really. And as the moon is actually building up to full, there is a lot of positivity still going on. It's a great time for anything really which is at an expansive stage of development. Anything that's on the increase and growing is going to be supported by this, because when we come to the full moon, even though it's actually going to be darkened by the Earth, being a penumbral lunar eclipse on the full moon, as we're coming up to that full moon, things really are growing, and when we get there, it's a time when everything in nature is really kind of in a celebratory sort of mood. Everything's full, everything's powerful. The emergency services always have to prepare themselves for a full moon coming. Anyway, let's have a rundown of what's happening with all the planets today. The Sun conjunct Saturn, same as yesterday. It's about making realistic judgments and locating responsibilities, and that always makes me chuckle, because that's a polite way of saying who's to blame, deciding who's to blame. That could be more positive or it could be more negative, depends on the situation, depends what's going on. But people may be trying to apportion blame all over the place at the moment. But the moon is trine Venus. Now, this is very positive because we get natural, balanced interactions between people, warm feelings. It's cooperative, it's affectionate, and there are emotional comforts to be had. Also, where people gather together and are willing to work together, it tends to go in a very positive way. Well, it would anyway if people are willing to work together and cooperate, but that is especially in the character of today in terms of astrology, so that's looking good. Mercury sextile Neptune, finding closure with things. Imagination is quite strong, and of course that is supported by the fact that the moon is still in Gemini as I speak. So finding closure, planning the future, that kind of thing. And that actually is quite good with the void, of course, moon as well. It's a better time to be making plans than it is to actually be putting them into practice. So all of that is very appropriate. Venus void in Aquarius, well, some are taking risks that not everybody else wants to support. Just got to be careful not to act on impulse with Venus void in Aquarius. And cultural things tend to be important, though, and maybe creative things around anything to do with culture important as well. And it's a long time yet, but on the 27th of January, certainly in Europe, and as far as the United Nations are concerned, it's Holocaust Memorial Day. And I'm not actually going to make a video about that myself, but I would like to draw people's attention to a video by Geddy Lee, the lead singer of Rush, whose parents were actually in concentration camps and went through all that. And it's a brilliant story of how they survived and how they found each other afterwards. Very spiritual, very cosmic. I keep meaning to put a link to that. Well, I keep meaning to put links to things generally in my description, and I never seem to quite be able to get my computer to do it, but I'm going to try. I've got till the 27th of January anyway, so there's a cultural thing that I really want to mention, because it shows hope in the direst situations that there have ever been. And really is quite an uplifting tale. Anyway, Mars is square Neptune. Questionable, people question each other, people wonder about each other's motives. I'm not saying anyone's got bad motives or anything, but people do question each other a lot with that transit. Jupiter sextile Neptune is optimistic, in tune with Gemini, most certainly, the Gemini moon. So spiritually optimistic, people are idealistic. The only trouble is that hopes are high, and so expectations tend to get inflated. It's a keep it real thing again. Saturn conjunct Pluto. Got to kind of be careful about resources. Now, these more further outlying planets take a while longer to actually change their alignments and what they're up to. So this is definitely a theme at the moment. Some people find kind of that they're just having to get more money out of situations to keep things on the level. But generally resources, and that's kind of food, and actually happiness as well, needs to be not exactly meted out, but just kept an eye on so that things don't drop below a particular level. I could go on and on, but I think we've done enough for today. That is very much a full sort of picture of what's going on in astrology today, Wednesday, the 8th of January 2020. I will be along later with the vegan. Well, there's nothing wrong with veganism, but I was going to say with the Virgo tarot reading. Gosh, I haven't been out of bed for too long at the moment. I've overslept today. Right, I'm going to have a cup of tea now, get my act together, and try and do Virgo with a fresh head on. Meanwhile, thanks very much for watching. Thumbs up if you enjoyed it, please. Don't forget to subscribe and tap the bell. Thank you very much, everyone who's subscribed. It's making a big difference, actually. The numbers are going up. I appreciate that very much. Thanks, everyone who likes, who comments, who shares. It really does make a massive difference. So on that note, have a great day, and I'll see you again tomorrow. Peace.